Well, hello, folks. This is David Shee at the Country Place. Our guest today is Jordan S. Jordan, introduce yourself to us.
Hey, like he said, I'm Jordan. I'm about 5 years sober now, and I'm about to turn 29 in a couple days. I've been on this recovery path since I was 23, and I didn't really start drinking or doing anything till I was about 19, so it's about the same amount of time that I was doing that as I've been recovering, and just had a pretty normal life, and just met David, and now I'm here.
Jordan, tell us where you were born and raised.
Well, I was born here in Houston, Texas, 1995, July 31st. Cypress, Texas, northwest side.
Now about recovery. Well, what happened in your life to bring you to Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yeah, well, I got my bachelor's degree, and I was drinking while I was in college, and then about a month after I came back from college, I took an ambulance ride down to the hospital, and I couldn't stay awake for the MRI. Kept passing out, and after that decided it was time to go to AA. I'd been to AA right around the time I was about to turn 21. I decided I'd go check out some young people meetings with a friend of mine who had been sober for some years at that point, and I just hadn't had any, I hadn't lost anything. I hadn't really had any issues with drinking other than I knew I drank to get drunk. And, after that hospital trip, along with, having woken up on the bathroom floor a handful of times, in college, and just having some issues with that, I decided, I was finally done, and so I went to AA at the Alano Club, aka the Cypress Wood Club, which is about maybe 20 minutes from the Cypress group. Went in there, was going there for a little bit, and then started going to Cypress group because it's closer by where I live.
Well, you've been hanging around the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous, I believe, about 5 years. Is that correct? So, what keeps you coming back?
I think it's mainly the fellowship. I had trouble really connecting to people on a deeper level. Kind of over time, I've taken more interest in my fellows and really gained some friendships that I really like, and I'm constantly meeting new people because new people are constantly coming in who, need the help that we have to offer, and it's nice to be part of a community like that. I remember when I first walked in after that hospital trip, I was before the meeting started, I was talking to some people about, what had happened, and they told me don't ever forget that feeling, and they told me you never have to drink again, and that was really powerful to me. And they also, they asked me a few questions, kind of laughed at what I had to say, and told me, man, you'll fit right in around here. Told me it sounds like you're right where you need to be, and that made me feel pretty welcome. In general, I wind up right where I need to be, and if I could fight life all I want to, and I could try to force things to happen exactly how I want them to, but when it all comes down to it, life is gonna do what life is gonna do, and all I can really do is do my best to respond rather than react in the best ways that I can, and practicing the principles that I learned in the program, and taking some of the suggestions from the people that I meet really helps guide me through the best ways to respond to life and adapt to situations.
Well, surely, like most people who come into the doors of AA, they come into the doors kind of bruised up and kind of hurting. Was that your experience when you came into the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yeah, it was pretty much that ambulance ride I was talking about. I went to a friend of mine picked me up, and we went over to this pool hall, and I wasn't driving at the time because like I had taken a semester off of school, and on the way back I wrecked my car and then did the rest of the semester, and then came back, all the while drinking and doing what I was doing out there. And so I come back, meet up with a friend. She picks me up, brings me to this pool hall where her boyfriend was pouring drinks, and he's an old buddy of mine. He plays bass. We had jammed together. I played drums with him, and so we were catching up, and I told him, pour me some Wild Turkey bourbon, and he told me, "Oh man, I didn't know you drank liquor like that. When we used to hang out, you just drink, you barely drank, you maybe would drink a beer, but." And so I got kind of feeling, kind of proud of myself, like, oh yeah, you don't know what I drink like now. I stepped up my game and all that, and telling him, oh yeah, don't be shy on the pours. So he was kind of over pouring for me a little bit, and ended up finishing off the bottle. And I don't know how much I drank, I don't remember, but I drank quite a bit. We were only there an hour before the ambulance showed up and hauled me off, and yeah, I really don't remember how much I drank, but it was obviously enough to have me falling over, smacking my head on the ground. Fell over about 3 times. I fell over once next to a pool table, got up, went back over to the bar, told him, hey man, cut me off, I'm done. He didn't believe me, and lost consciousness, fell back, smacked my head on the ground. They pulled me up, put me on the bar stool. The manager was talking to me, and in the middle of our conversation, I lost consciousness again, keeled over, head first on the floor, off the bar stool. And they were telling me stay on the ground. Had the ambulance come out. The ambulance took me and on a gurney, and I was trying to argue with them, tell them I didn't need to go. I just needed a good night rest. But yeah, I kept falling asleep, and I woke up in a hospital bed after they were fighting me to stay awake in the MRI machine, and seen a doctor come by looking at something, and I asked him, hey, can I go now? I don't want to be here. And so they said, okay, sign these documents. I signed the documents, called my friends to come pick me up. They brought me home, and the bartender, he took videos on his phone of the security footage, and he gave it to me, and he told me, hey man, I wasn't supposed to do this, but I think you need to see what you were doing, so you need to see what you look like, because that's not normal, and you need to go get some help. You need to figure out what's going on with you, because this is a very serious situation. So don't lie about it. Don't brush it off like it's not a big deal. You need to take this really seriously and make sure you get some help, because you could really end up hurting yourself or somebody else. first time I really drank was my first communion for like Catholic Church, for the blood of Christ, which like is just like a sip. That's like not really drinking. But then the only time I drank other than that, like before I graduated high school, was like my grandma let me have a sip of her white wine just to see the difference between the red wine and the white wine. But I didn't drink at all in grade school, and in high school I was part of all sorts of organizations, and I had to make a commitment for one of the organizations I was in to not drink or do drugs or smoke tobacco, and that was part of the deal of being a part of that. So, and then once I got out of high school, I said, okay, well, maybe I can, try to go to a party. I never went to parties like that in school because all the other kids who did that knew that I didn't do that. So they said, oh, well, you don't really want to come to our parties because you'll just be bored. So they wouldn't invite me. And, later on, started getting invited to some, hangouts with drinks and whatever. And first time I went to my friend's birthday party and I knew there was going to be alcohol there, I showed up before the party even started, when people were still getting stuff ready, making something called jungle juice, cutting up fruit and mixing liquors together to make it. And I said, hey, let me be the taste tester. And so I started drinking before this party even started. And I went, man,
your own party, right?
Yeah, I went, man, I like this. This tastes great. Let me get some more of that. And I decided from the get-go that I was gonna get drunk, and I was gonna use it as an excuse to act goofy. So I was just a goofball, just having a hoot and hollering time. I was told that it's an allergy of the mind, body, and spirit, and that that it's a disease, and that it's a family disease. It's hereditary, and there's a lot of people in my family who have alcoholism. There's people in my family who don't, who can just drink like regular people. But there's a good enough amount of people in my family that can't, and have to practice abstinence and just not drink, because as soon as we take the first drink, all bets are off and we're off to the races.
And obviously things have been changing for you. You have over 5 years of sobriety, and I understand that your life is starting to look pretty good, isn't it?
I'm about to be working with some children with behavior issues as a teacher's aide at a high school. So that'll be an interesting endeavor. Hopefully I don't get bullied too much by these bad kids, but they're not really bad kids. They just some of them have stuff going on at home where that's things that are out of their control, or sometimes they have maybe some sort of chemical imbalance, neurodivergency, that causes them to behave different than the other kids. And so it's just all about trying to work them back toward getting back into regular classes. Some of them are in some regular classes and come to our contained class for part of the day. Some of them are in the contained class for the whole day, and they're working on skills all day to try and get them back into normal society. So we'll see how that goes. I got some training ahead of me to learn about how to do that, and up until then, for the past few months, I was working as a technician, like a machine operator, cleaning floors, stripping wax off floors and re-waxing, and helping out with some custodial services in the district. So did some sales, did some procurement, did some quality and data and manufacturing before that. I was in a band for a bit with my brother, where I played rhythm guitar. I played drums in some other bands. I played bass in a couple music festivals, and now I just like being a fan and going and dancing, and on the weekends go out and see some local musicians, local talent, maybe go see some DJs, whatever, and work during the week and go to my meetings whenever I can, about once a day, and or maybe a few times a week, depending on the week. But I think I got a pretty good life. I try to find balance. Currently I'm not dating anyone, but I had to kind of, I guess that was a big part of my drinking, was that I was trying to figure out my sexuality. Is like, I was first like real serious relationship I was in was with a girl from high school that I met through a church retreat, and then kind of went back and forth with being like bisexual, and now since I stopped drinking, I actually haven't really been with any females. I've only been with men, so I feel like I'm kind of gay at this point, but I try not to put labels on it or worry too much about it. I just, be with who I'm with, and if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and then I just try to focus on being good with me. If I'm trying to people please, to be manipulative or try and gain something out of the relationship or the situation, then maybe that might not be the best thing to do. But if I'm people pleasing because I'm oh well, I like this person and I enjoy having this friendship and I wanna see a smile on their face, then I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to put a smile on someone's face just for the sake of sharing the joy of each other's company. Somebody told me a long time ago we insist on enjoying ourselves too, so I just insist on enjoying myself and having a good time in every situation that I'm in. If I find myself not having a good time or enjoying myself, I gotta ask myself why. I gotta ask myself what's happening that's causing me to not be having a good time, not be enjoying myself, not be excited about life. And sometimes it's because I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Sometimes it's because I'm just unsatisfied with me, with something that I'm like, maybe I've made choices that have led me to a situation where I'm disappointed, and then I gotta figure out what do I need to do to clean house and make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to be able to get back to a place of enjoying myself. Sometimes I chase excitement elsewhere, that in places and ways that might not be serving to me, and to distract myself from my responsibilities, and then eventually go, well, I'm not enjoying myself outside of those situations, those exciting situations. So what's happening? Why am I not able to enjoy myself in the quote unquote boring parts of life like I once did? So if I can enjoy myself in boring situations, just being by myself or just being with one other person or being with whomever, in whatever situation, and still be able to laugh and have a good time and keep things lighthearted, not take myself too seriously. If I'm not able to do those things, then there's got to be some reason. I've kind of shifted from, I don't really play my instruments as much as I once did. Kind of shifted into working on learning about how sound works with speakers and different things like that. We've been kind of building up a speaker system at home, and just having fun tinkering and figuring out the different sound qualities that I can get from what resources I have. And it's made watching TV and movies quite a new experience with that, because it's almost like I got a theater level sound in my apartment, which is pretty cool. But I'd like to start running sound for some bands. I've done that a little bit in the past, but I actually just got invited to do that for a guy who's in the group who has a band, and he's got some sound equipment, so he's wanting me to come over maybe this coming weekend or one of these weekends coming up when his band gets together. So that ought to be pretty fun. Yeah, I played in a few bands. Most of them weren't super serious, but played in a band with my brother where I played rhythm guitar and a little bit of bass. After I left the band, they had me come back to fill in for the bass player. We went to this festival in West Virginia called Metal in the Mountains, so that was pretty cool, and we played a bunch of local places. Put out some music videos. Yeah, the band was signed to a label, and the label had its own online radio show, so I did they had its own online radio station and with different shows, and I had my own radio show that I was putting out like weekly episodes, and that kind of helped me get in with some of the local people, and I was booking shows as well, so I knew the other people booking shows, and I worked the door at one of the venues that I was booking at, and it was interesting working with other people, having to rely on people actually showing up and performing in the time slot they said they were going to do. And since I performed my own solo act on acoustic guitar, if somebody didn't show up or fell through for whatever reason, or got COVID or sick or whatever, couldn't make it out, I'd jump up on stage, fill a time slot if I had to.
I have some exciting news. I have asked Jordan if he would play one of his tunes for us here at the Country Place. And he has agreed. So, Jordan, I'm going to hand the microphone over to you and let you have the stage. When you're ready, we're ready. Thank you again, Jordan.
There's a little guitar riff I've been fooling around with.
Folks, I just wanted to thank you for being a part of the Country Place today. I wish also to thank Jordan S. If you are interested in being a part of the Country Place, please send us a message or a comment. We will get back with you as soon as we can. Thank you again for listening and being a part of the Country Place. This is David T. saying God bless. Bye-bye.